All right. Well, Mike, thank you for your question. And here what Mike's asking is if a company adds a lethality step to the food product, so spraying a validated antimicrobial onto the finished product, does the FDA take that into consideration if on a swab inspection a positive pathogen is found in zone 3? So what Mike's asking here is that we're operating in a situation where we have a risk control step on the final product. We're spraying it with something antimicrobial, and we've found a pathogen in zone 3. Will the FDA take that into account? My answer to that is that they absolutely should take that into account. And if they didn't, then I would be arguing very strongly, if this was one of my clients, to say, okay, FDA, you might have found a zone 3 positive, but we've got mitigation steps going on on the final product that's going to help reduce this risk. Because what risk are we trying to avoid here? We're trying to avoid a regulatory action. We're trying to avoid a recall. We obviously don't want to make people sick. So this would be an example where you could leverage what you're doing. It's short of a final cook step or a pasteurization step, sure, but the answer is, yeah, this is going to help. This is going to help reduce the likelihood of you having to recall the product. Now, let me add to that a couple of thoughts. I'm not suggesting that a little spray on the finished product allows you to have a sloppy environmental control program. It's like, well, we really don't care about zone 3s because we're spraying this magic juice on the finished product, which is going to control the risk. Don't go there. Don't go there, because we're back to conversations that relate to allergen control, where the FDA has made it very, very, very clear that if you put a may contain label on your product for specific allergens, it does not get you off the hook for having good manufacturing practices and allergen control systems. So I'm answering this question from Mike in the context of we've got really good environmental control programs and we're also spraying the finished product. That's great. That's multiple hurdles to try to keep the bugs at bay. But don't rely on your magic juice on the finished product to allow you to have a sloppy environmental control program, because you will get skewered by the FDA if you do that. So trying to put Mike's question in context here, and keep in mind that the FDA will be looking at all of those factors. And as I was mentioning on an earlier question, is if your GMPs are horrible and you've got lots of positives, then you will be in trouble on something like that. But on the face of it, yeah, absolutely. This helps in the conversations with the regulators. So good question from Mike.
No, absolutely. I think it's interesting as far as no magic at the end. It's got to be all the way through from start to finish.
It really does. And I mean, that's food safety 101 in many ways, is like make sure it's a solid program from one end to the other.